All right, all right. So I listened to this fantastic podcast by Radiolab, and I heard Carl Zimmer talk about this jewel wasp and how it attacks a cockroach. It's like, oh my gosh, would this ever happen to a human? So hop on Google, and I typed in parasitic wasp humans, thinking, hopefully I can't find something that hurts me. And like, there's two things. Either they're farmers or gardeners, because parasitic wasps are useful, but then I found a boatload of other stuff that is so interesting. So I'm going to share with you guys 3 amazing parasitic wasps. First off, I'll start off with this Costa Rican parasoid wasp. So out there, so every wasp has a very specific prey that they hunt. And for this guy, they love spiders, specifically the orb spider. And this orb spider, they weave this amazing, beautiful web. They spend like 6 steps to construct this web. They form the framework, they weave sticky and non-sticky parts all around it. Now this wasp, once it infects the spider, all right, they kind of trick it. They make it high, they change its brain chemicals. Somehow, it gets the spider to spin this weird web, only repeating 3 steps. And it forms this web that stands up in rain. And the weird thing is, if you remove this parasite from the spider, it still does this weird little web. So it's kind of strange. Now, the next one that I would love to talk about is called the Voodoo Wasp. This name that I cannot say, but it induces bodyguarding like behavior. So its prey is this beautiful caterpillars. You know, if you mess with a caterpillar, they don't care if you pick it up. They don't really care if you put it on a piece of paper. They're generally peaceful dudes. And so this wasp, once it finds a caterpillar, it will lay like around 80 eggs on the poor caterpillar. They kind of burrow in. They're like, oh man, caterpillar, delicious. I'm gonna eat you up. And so once the egg becomes a larvae, they kind of come out. They're like, okay, it's time for us to metamorphosize into a wasp. So they come out of the caterpillar, and as you can see, the caterpillar kind of shrinks. And it stands right by the caterpillar, like, all right, I'm going to arch my back. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to sit here and watch you guys. So the interesting thing is that there's all sorts of insects. Like when the baby wasps are in this state, they're vulnerable, and anything can attack it. Like this shield bug. The shield bug's like, I love these larvae. They come like, no. What happens is the caterpillar will stand guard, and it will flail its head wildly, trying to push things away. Now, researcher has cracked open said caterpillar, and they discovered that 2 larvae, or 2 pupae, would stay behind. So there's, instead of chemicals, this wasp uses, they stay behind to watch the brood. Now, my favorite, the jewel wasp. Besides a nice, beautiful coat, a jewel wasp attacks cockroaches. So let's imagine ourselves, right? Let's imagine ourselves. We're a cockroach, we're wandering around, and suddenly, out from the corner of the eye, this wasp comes out of nowhere, and I'm struggling for dear life. I'm tumbling, I'm rolling, and this wasp, with its quick reflexes, stings me twice. The first thing, through my head, it paralyzed me. Then again, it hits this very specific neurons in the brain that suddenly, which we'll explain later, like kind of freezes. So the caterpillar kind of wakes up, shakes it around. It's like, okay, like I should run, but I won't. I won't run. And like this wasp, goes away, digs a hole, comes back, and it like bites down on the cockroach's antenna and like pulls it along. Like on its own, the cockroach won't, like it lost its will to walk. And the wasp like pulls it along to a hole, lays an egg, and boom, bada bing, a whole new wasp comes out. Now here's the mind-blowing part about this jewel wasp. Is that as I was doing this research, apparently wasps is really are heavily correlated to like studying free will, which kind of blew my mind. So this wasp, yes, it puts venom in to paralyze it. It puts the venom in this other part that it knocks out only walking. It only knocks out the will to walk. But if it needs to fly, if it needs to flip to save its life, it will do that. But for some reason, it doesn't walk. So, I don't know. Maybe if someone's like acting kind of weird, like perhaps they got bitten by a wasp and maybe there's something living inside them. So hopefully I inspired you to say parasitic wasps are awesome. So thank you.